Alright guys, so today I got this awesome module that I'm going to be adding to my Tacoma. So this is a car ABC intelligent interconnection is what the box says. This thing is going to finally make this radio so much nicer. So alright, so opening up the box, this right here is an instruction manual, and this is going to be the box that we're going to connect to this radio. So what this box is going to do is give us access to Apple CarPlay on the stock unit, which I think this unit needs, because I personally like the way this looks, but the lack of Apple CarPlay, and like it has all this other fancy stuff on it, but I don't use it. I use mostly Apple CarPlay because one thing I hate is the stock navigation on this is it's so outdated and it's so hard to use. So being able to just look up your thing on Apple Maps and then just appear it over to your screen is way easier. So you get your module, and then you get a plug and play harness. And this isn't specific to Tacomas. This is actually specific to pretty much any Toyota that is running, I believe it's Intune 2.0 or newer. So I know some of the newer Tacomas have Apple CarPlay, but for any of those other people who have like a Camry, a Corolla, anything like that that has this infotainment center but no Apple CarPlay, this is going to be your solution right here. So what this is pretty much just a piggyback harness that plugs into your existing harness, and then there's one extra cable that comes out that will plug into the back of this unit, and that will give you Apple CarPlay and everything. But plus, if you want to get even fancier, is this has another plug specific for USB video, and this will allow you to add a front camera or any additional camera anywhere you want on the car. And I believe you can activate that with a button somehow. So, but yeah, that's what this is going to be. So everything's going to be plug and play, and also comes with a Wi-Fi antenna to get better range. So when this is stuck down in the dash, you won't have to worry about it connecting or horrible connection. So let's dig into this radio and get this thing installed. All right, and if you guys are also interested, I will be putting a link to this. This is right from Amazon, so it's reasonably priced for what it is. You don't have to go out and buy a brand new radio, but this will give you all the functions you want from a radio without having to upgrade it. Like I said, this is a decent radio. It's a decent size, but it lacks the integration of Apple CarPlay. Also, this also works with Android Auto as well, if you guys are interested in that. So for the Tacomas, this bezel just pops off. Just kind of give it a yank. It almost has like a little bit of pieces on the back to help leverage it. You could possibly use plastic pry tools if needed, and then this will come right off. You can see where all the clamps are at, or all the clips are at. This whole thing comes out, and then super simple. I mean, we're literally 75% done already with the installation of this. So, and now there's going to be 4 10mm. Let's grab a socket, we'll loosen those, and then we should be able to yank the radio out and then find out the harnesses we need to plug into. I recommend get a longer extension so that way you don't smack your socket into the radio. Alright, now we got all 4 screws out. I'd recommend get a rag or something to lay that screen onto. And mine's a little dirty too, might as well clean it. But, so then this will just come out. Alright, so once you get this pulled out, you will have a few connectors we will have to disconnect. Depending on your model, you might not have nearly as many, but I'm just going to disconnect all these just for the video, so that way we can see what connectors we're plugging into. Alright, so I got this all unplugged. These plugs stay plugged in if you have like the stock nav and everything like that, because that's all it's doing is just piggybacking from, I believe this bottom one is the navigation system. So, but yeah, we will grab our harness. So this right here is the harness we're gonna grab. And like I said, this is probably for one of the newest cars I've worked on fairly new cars, and this car, with how new it is so easy to take the radio off and on. So, I mean, I thought like my Corolla was pretty simple, but this, you literally have to just undo one trim piece and then the 4 screws. So, alright, so we're gonna have our 3 piggyback harnesses. So these ones are gonna plug right into the radio, and they really only have one location to go into. So there goes 1, 2, and 3. Alright, so now that those are plugged in, then this one right here, this is the only one that comes off of that, will get plugged into this harness right here. So we'll plug that in, and now this is pretty much all situated. I'm just gonna hook this one up now, because I do plan on adding a camera in the future. I think that'll be pretty cool. So I'm just gonna plug this in and just throw it behind the radio for now. And this also comes with a extra USB port too, if needed. I don't think we really need it, but this does come with one. Alright, and now that we got all this plugged in, I'm just going to keep all this zip tied together for now when I tuck it behind the radio. And now we'll just start plugging everything back in, and then that should be it. So I'm just going to set this back in here for now. This is still hanging out. I just want to make sure everything works good. So then we just start the car up. The radio is turning on. Everything looks normal. Looks just like a normal. So in order to get to Apple CarPlay, I believe you go to audio, and then you go to, I thought it was aux. So aux brings up this screen, and then now this is where we're going to choose. It's asking for wired or wireless. We're going to go wireless connection. You probably have to connect. So there is it looks like I've never seen this, so I'm going to connect to this Bluetooth device. And so now it just gives you a password, pair it, allow. So now we will see this sync up. Alright, and now I have Apple CarPlay. So this is really nice. So I mean, it's kind of weird to have it on such a smaller screen, but we have Apple CarPlay. So now that is pretty much that simple. So it has its own like screen. It's very interesting how this works. Alright, so I just turned the radio off, let the car sit for like 10 minutes, came back, turned it on just to see if Apple CarPlay would start back up, and it did. So it does take a little bit longer to boot Apple CarPlay, but it's not anything longer than like another 5 seconds or something like that, because it brings up the boot logo of the car ABC thing, and then flashes that, and then you got your CarPlay and other options there. So I'd say this is really nice to have. So the only thing I'm not liking about it, it's really hard to pick up on camera. The screen quality seems a little fuzzy, so I'm not sure if that's just an update thing that needs to happen or what, but it does just seem a little weird looking at it. So I might contact them and see if there's like an update or something that we can do, because obviously I know the quality of the normal screen is nice, so there has to be something electronically happening that causes the resolution not to be good. So, but all in all, everything seems to be good. So, and I found out that pretty much the way you will switch back and forth from say when you go to like when you're on CarPlay and you hit home, it brings you home to this module right here. So, and it gives you a few other settings and USB, and you can access the camera and stuff. So, and then you hit CarPlay and it brings you back. One other thing I noticed is if you hit the power button, it'll bring you back to your normal settings. So, and then you can hit the power button again, and it will activate this module. So very quick and easy to switch back and forth. It's not like inconvenience whatsoever. You can take phone calls as normal. Everything seems to function exactly how it normally would, but now you have Apple CarPlay. So that is a really good thing. So I'm gonna button this up, get everything all tucked back there. I'm just gonna put this module just somewhere back there. I'm gonna try to get it as clean as possible, but there's not a lot of room behind the radio, but we will see what I can do. Alright, you guys, so I got Apple CarPlay running, everything's all back together, and it looks really nice. I mean, everything is functioning exactly how you would expect it for Apple CarPlay. So the only biggest flaw that I noticed about this is the display quality. So the only thing I'm hoping that there's some type of update, because I know if you go back to the settings on the actual module, there is a way to update this, so that way, I don't know, hopefully there is an update to help the screen quality. I mean, all in all, I'm impressed. I like it. Super simple way to get CarPlay on your radio without having to buy a brand new radio or whatever. And if you guys are interested how to switch back and forth, it's as simple as just pressing your power button, and your power button brings you back to your normal display or whatever. So, and then you can just hit the power button back and it'll bring you back to CarPlay or whatever app you were on before. And so how this actually works is they actually tap into the aux port somehow. I'm not exactly sure, but you have to use there's several buttons to get to CarPlay, but the other one is you can just hit aux and it goes back to Apple CarPlay as well. So you can turn it on, you can hit aux, or you can try the voice button, but for some reason that was acting up to me. So, but I think the on button is a super simple way to get back and forth from your normal radio to this module. And like I said, it has all sorts of, I mean, if you're familiar with Apple CarPlay, then it's super simple. Your maps will link right up to your phone. This is all happening wirelessly. You don't even need any type of cable or anything to connect it to, so, which is very nice and simple. And I have tested it. The boot up time and the link time probably takes an additional maybe 5 to 10 seconds for Apple CarPlay to kick in. So, I mean, not terrible at all. I have seen worse. There's always like a 5 to 10 second delay, so that way it can hook up to the Bluetooth on your phone, relay it over to the screen, and there's always that delay. So, but all in all, everything works good. The only thing that I notice is your track forward and backwards don't work on the screen. I have no idea why, but they do work on the steering wheel controls. All the steering wheel controls work. You can turn up and down the volume, but for some reason when you turn up and down the volume, you don't see any volume thing on the screen, which isn't the worst thing, but it also would be nice to see how much you're going. The backup camera, having a factory backup camera, it works perfectly fine. So I know they're just my parking sensors going off, but that works perfectly fine. No problems whatsoever there. If you guys have any other questions, just drop them down below. I'll try to answer them and get everything answered as good as I can. But if you guys are interested in picking up one of these, I will be putting a link to it. That way you can pick up your own to get it. And pretty much, like I said, any Toyota that is running Intune 2.0. Alright, but with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you guys are new, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.